Hi guys, it's Julie. So, how do I come out and say this? No longer working at Casey's. Um, I lost my job there. Um, Long story short, that place was hugely disorganized. And we finally got a manager in who seemed to know what she was doing, but to be honest with you, I don't think she liked me all that much. Um, because, well, two things basically. Because I didn't think I mentioned in the Fresh Start video that, I had, um, accepted that I had started working at Casey's. I started working at the one right up the road here. And then my boss at that store had me transferred to the store that I worked at for over a year, and basically was like from like May of last year till April of this year. So I think that would have been about a year, maybe. Um, so basically, when I went in to that store, the manager at the time had me work one day in the kitchen, and apparently I did so poorly that he was like, "You're gonna be a cashier." Well, telling me it was gonna be a cashier, which is fine. That's perfectly okay. The only problem is it's a cashier job, so involves a lot of standing in one place. It kind of moving back and forth a little bit depending on what the customer needed, if they needed cigarettes or lottery tickets or whatever. So, but the problem is, um, so we lost that manager. That manager apparently got transferred to take over at another Casey's. And when he left, he took a bunch of people with him, which, left us shorthanded and stuff. And then we got another guy in, and he was super friendly. Every time I come in, he'd make me feel welcome, give me a big hug. Um, he was our manager at the time that I was robbed. And so that was kind of interesting because he came right in. He was like, "Julie, okay?" And all that. And so, but then later on, we found out some things about, um, and I don't really know. I only heard a couple things in passing, but apparently he and his girlfriend were doing some not so legal things, um, that they were dipping into. Because his girlfriend worked at the Casey's too, so I'm like, so apparently there's stuff about them dipping into the drawers and steal money and a bunch of other stuff that I didn't hear the details of. But anyway, so he left, was fired, whatever. And then there was a bit in between there where we were without a manager. Matter of fact, each time the manager left, there was a time where we were without a manager. And so, and then we finally got Victoria, who, um, it's funny, she is the wife of the main dude who used to work in our kitchen, and it's the dude who introduced me to the fact that some screamer type music can be kind of fun. So he was like, so, but he had gone with our first manager when he left, so, and then Victoria came in, and she was a great manager in the sense that um, she would get to work, she would get stuff done, she would help out with like doing freight, assembling displays, that kind of thing. The problem is, like I said, I don't think she liked me very much. And so a lot of times, like, she, like, in between, like, on and off, like, before we got Victoria, back when we had Steve and kind of Garrett, the second guy and all that, was I had help at night, especially on the weekends, because we would get so freaking busy. It was just insane. And so a lot of the busy, a lot of, and, it was great because I had a lot of the same people coming in every single day. So I got to the point where I recognized people and, could like engage in conversation beyond just here's your beer, kind of thing. And I got comfortable to the fact of, asking them the if they were a guy and the things were the big things of beer or whatever were super heavy. I would be like, hey, can you flip that over onto its side so I can reach the barcode? And, most of the time it worked pretty well. But with it being retail, did have some customers who would come in and like there were a couple of them that it almost seemed like they were there to cause trouble, like they were there to treat us workers as like miserable. Matter of fact, there were even times where like I saw a difference between the the kitchen staff and how I was treated. Because a lot of times, my normal shift would be like 3 to 11, and I would close and we would stay a little bit after, depending on if all the cleaning was done, all the, whatever, count down the drawers at the end of the night, that kind of thing. Although I was proud of myself because I had a procedure, I had a plan, but there are a lot of times where I would seriously need help. And like I said, there were a lot of times, somebody would come in, there'd be a huge wait on pizzas because apparently everyone called in at the same time or the kitchen was backed up or whatever. And, even when the pizzas were like super late or whatever, the customers wouldn't be mad at them, as far as I'm aware. I mean, maybe they called in later, but they always just acted like, no, you guys are doing great. But then, like, they would come in and they would, like, instead of going back to the kitchen, like they were supposed to gain the attention of one of the guys, they would be like, hey, they would come up to me and be like, yeah, I have a pizza for blah, blah, blah. So I started out just going back there and going back to the kitchen asking for, I've gotta, you guys got pizza order for a thing. And then eventually, one of the guys, several of the guys in the kitchen were like, Julie, we don't want you to do that. Just stay up front and, send them back to us. And so I would try doing that, but still, I would get those people who were just like, come up to me. And I don't know if it was because I was a woman, if they thought, here's a woman, she'll get my pizza for me, or whatever. But, but the main issue I had at that Casey's was the fact that I was not allowed to talk back to the customers. In other words, I wasn't allowed to defend myself. I wasn't allowed to, if someone, even if I felt like I was in danger, like there were a couple times people come in or they'd call afterwards and they'd be all just ranting and yelling and I'm gonna make sure you lose your job and blah blah blah. And it's like I mean, I remember one in particular where this guy sends his teenage son in to pick up the pizzas, and we would give out occasionally, and I don't know where they got them, but they would come in with like these little plastic cards that kind of looked like a credit card, but it would be a punch card, and they would be like, and they'd be like, oh, I'm supposed to get a free pizza. Well, the young guy comes in, and it's like I could tell right away he'd never done this before. It was probably his first time. His dad was like, hey, go get pizzas, that kind of thing. Which is fine. That's great. But I don't know. There would just be like he did not know what he was doing. Like he came up to me first thing, so I was just like, okay, gotta go back there. They'll help you. Grab a hold of one of them. And I don't even fully remember what the issue was, but there was something with the issue of, I think it was something that he had like one of those punch cards, but like his dad called in, like he apparently was supposed to get more than one pizza free. And, a lot of times in the kitchen, they would have that stuff marked down already. And so I don't remember if I didn't check or if I was just like, no, it's just one pizza free for, unless you get to, because every time you punched a hole in the thing, you got a free pizza. So it wasn't just one free pizza once you got to the end of the card. It was every time you punched the card, you got a free pizza. So, but it would depend. It would either be a free large, or a lot of times it would be a free medium pizza with a large pizza. And so, and like I said, I don't really remember what the issue was, but I think he was just like, I'm supposed to get 2 free pizzas, apparently. That's what my dad said. And so I was like, well, so I did what I was supposed to do. I looked at the register, looked at the slip, looked at and showed it to him and was like, yeah, just tell your dad it went like this. If you want to keep the receipt, you definitely can. And so he walked out with the pizzas, and I thought that was it. Well, later on that day, one of the kitchen staff hands me the phone and said, somebody wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. And it was the kid's dad, and he was super pissed and he was just mad. He was like, I'm not, he wouldn't let me get word in edgewise. He just ranted, raved at me, and I'm going to make sure you lose your job. Well, the funny thing is, I don't think that ever ended up counting toward it because we were in between managers at that time. So, or we had the second guy, but he wasn't there, and something. And so it was just like, okay, so, But the more I think about it, the more I think it was just the fact that we didn't have a manager. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? You know? And, a lot of times people like that would be like, I know the higher ups in your company enjoy not having a job. And I'm like, do you get your kicks off threatening retail workers? Because that's what's coming off as. So we got Victoria, and for a while everything was great. Everything was a lot better than it had been. Stuff was getting done. We had displays out. Stuff was being recorded, whereas in the past apparently it wasn't always getting recorded and stuff like that. And so, and just like I said, just no reason other than she had a do not talk back to the customers policy. You're not important, they are, kind of thing. And so she ended up, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a performance improvement plan. I, it was just a 3 times and you're out deal. But here's the other thing. A lot of times, it's like I would get to the end of the night or whatever, and nothing would have happened or whatever, and it would have been a fair night. Maybe I had an issue with a couple of customers, but at the same time, and a lot of them were just, they were in a hurry. They wanted to get their stuff and get out. And there were a couple times, like right before we closed, we had like a huge, like, one time we had like a softball team come into the store like at 5 minutes before it closed. And it was just like, when they expected pizza and all that. And so I don't know if a situation like that, like the first time it happened, I remember Victoria told me, she said this guy called in, blah, 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 blah. She asked for my side of the story, and I was like, okay. And so she was like, well, I need you to sign, you just need to think of it from the customer's point of view. And, that's enough red flags all across the board. But, so, yeah, so that happened. But, like I said, a lot of times, like, I would go home at the end of the night, and then the next day I would come in, and, like, I never knew when it was going to happen, but Victoria would be like, come into my office, and, like I said, first time she asked what happened, my side of what happened. And second time she didn't. Second time she was just, what's going to happen the next time. And so I tried my best. And what really grinds my gears, well, and what I was saying is a lot of times it seems like like people wouldn't complain when I was there, or they wouldn't say anything even when we had like kitchen managers. They would be more like, you know, they would wait and they would call in, and they would call in the morning when Victoria would be there, which was kind of sus because I didn't have a chance to be like to defend myself or anything like that. The second time she said, "You know what's gonna happen the next time? I have to write you up," you know? So it really blew my mind. It's like there was a lot of space in between these three times. So, there's a lot of space between the first time I was written up and the second time I was written up. So I would think I was okay, and I would think I was, think I was safe, and that I'd come in one day and Victoria would be like, "You're getting written up again," this person called and said blah blah blah. And then the third time, well, and what really blew my mind is that the third and final time it happened, she didn't even say it. She didn't say what the customer said or anything. She was just like, "So I got another complaint, you know, and this is your third time," and so she had me sign a thing digitally on the computer, on the iPad that we had, and then she was said, "Yeah, you're done, you can go." And so she waited until I came into work. She didn't call me and say, "Hey, I got another complaint, don't come in," because I'm just going to send you out. No. Well, and probably because she needs my signature or whatever. But so she got, so she just let me go. And the weird thing, she didn't ask for any of my stuff. Like I was wearing my Casey shirt. She didn't ask for the key to the door. I was so in shock, I just left and I didn't even think about leaving anything. I had to come back later and drop off the key. And thankfully, she was gone the day I decided to go back and do that. But, and so basically, I've been without work, and I've been trying to job hunt and stuff, but it's just been not going well. I mean, it's only been recently where I've had like a couple of interviews and been rejected on both jobs and stuff. And so I talked to Keith, and so he was like, "Well, he basically told me that since I've been working since the time we met, the time we started dating, and the time, since we got married, through the time we got married and everything, that that I don't need to be working, but that I should be showing that I can work, that I'm interested in working." So, and here's the other fun thing. I updated my LinkedIn profile, and I hadn't updated that thing since uh, my time working for Best Buy, which was quite a few years ago. Um, Matter of fact, Best Buy was the place I was working when Keith came over to see me the first time. And I remember I took some time off work for that, and then, and that was the job that I quit because I thought I was gonna go over there for 6 months. Um, so yeah, so that's the thing. So, uh, and it's just recently that I've kind of gotten into the maybe I don't need to work. And like the places I've been applying for, like I've wanted to do part time. I want to go back to doing part time. I have enough money in savings that I can kind of afford to just work part time now. And but there's been no um there's been no um sorry guys, I'm kind of don't have a script, don't have anything really planned out in my head. I just kind of need to get all that out. I hadn't really I've been kind of quiet about it because I've kind of had the idea in my head that, if I'm job hunting, I probably shouldn't be trashing my previous workplace and my previous boss because that looks bad and stuff. But I just, I just, I want to, like, I've been able to do more writing lately. I've been able to write three segments of my Sky story on Reddit, um, which is getting some likes and stuff, and but it also just helps just to get it out and stuff. Um, I've also been enjoying having a ton more free time, although I am starting to get kind of bored. And I've been looking into like volunteer opportunities, then with like historical society. I haven't been able to find anything though, and I don't know if that's just because it's still spring and it's not summer, or if they get more busy, in the fall. I don't know. But then I've also been taking time going through more of my stuff, getting rid of things. I have a tote over here that is just full, like, for like the second time in like a couple weeks and stuff. And Dad keeps taking that over to Helping Hands, which is a thrift store that's fairly close by and stuff like that. And, you know, I've been enjoying getting to exercise more because I haven't been able to exercise. It's been go to work, stand on my feet for 8 hours, 8 hours a day, do a little bit of moving around, cleaning and facing and all that when I have time. And, you know, then come home, be extremely sore, finally manage to get to sleep, wake up, still sore, do it all again. So it's kind of nice having a little bit of free extra time, but like I said, I do want to either volunteer somewhere or maybe take some classes to, enhance my skills or whatever. Because I don't know what, I know I would still like to work doing something social work wise, but I don't know what or where or anything like that. So maybe this is a good opportunity for me to do that. So, yeah, just to let you guys know, I'm gonna try to post a little bit more often. But again, since I'm at home and a lot of the times there's a bunch of other people here, that may not actually happen, but I'm still gonna try. And, but yeah, I may post from my phone a little bit more often, or do some of these shorts that apparently are going around YouTube right now, or that kind of thing. But yeah, I wanted to let you guys know what was going on. Um, I'm okay. I've already cried about the situation and really stuff. I still catch myself feeling bad about myself, but I think that'll go away in time, especially, if I find other things to do and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from job hunting and look into either advancing my skills in certain areas or maybe learn new skills, you know, or maybe just doing something for fun. So, but yeah, I miss you guys. Um, so just let me know how y'all guys are doing. Um, and I'll try to catch up with you again once I have stuff to share. And I will definitely be posting a video once I get that visa. I will be like, guys, it's happening. I'm going. And maybe it's like, I know I'm going, but it's still kind of in that in between stage. So, but once it happens, once I get that visa, I'm going to be like, yes. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.